Versus Sports Channel. We're going to quickly go through League One Week 24 review because we haven't got much time. Did want to put one out. Barnsley versus Wrexham. Now, we thought Barnsley would have their hands full with Wrexham. Even though they're at home, we thought Barnsley won, Wrexham won. Wrexham did come back. They were 2-0 down. 80th minute, Wrexham came back. They had 2-1 to Barnsley. However, Wrexham really did intend putting the pressure well and truly on by that point. And Wrexham started to really try and get back into this one. 40% play to Barnsley, 9 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the net. They'll be really chuffed with that. Wrexham, though, 60% possession. A lot of it in that second half, I feel. 19 shots, brilliant, or what? 6 of them on target, perhaps not as good as they'd hoped for, but only 1 in the net. They'll be upset that they didn't at least equalise with that pressure that they started to apply, but they didn't, and we certainly get nothing for that one. Blackpool versus Shrewsbury next, and we said Blackpool 2, Shrews 0. We thought that Blackpool have been improving a little bit, but so Shrewsbury. But we just couldn't see Shrewsbury doing it against a side that who's put such a really brilliant manager in place, haven't they? He's gonna be making sure that team is clicking pretty damn quickly now. The manager bounce came and went. We just thought 2-0 to Blackpool. They'll start to make that push now up the table. But in the end, it was Blackpool 1, Shrewsbury 1, and Shrewsbury showed the fact that with such little possession, they can still take a team on the break. 27% possession to Shrewsbury Town, 8 shots, 2 of them on target, 1 in the net. They'll be well pleased with that. 73% possession to Blackpool, 14 shots, 4 on target. Yeah, not so good. Blackpool will be upset they didn't get a second one. I think they should have on the day won this one. Rather easier than what it looked. But it just they made a meal of it. It didn't look comfortable. Even with 73% possession, the Blackpool didn't really ever look comfortable in this game. Blackpool 2, Shrewsbury 0. It was Blackpool 1, Shrewsbury 1, and we'll move on to the next one. Bristol Rovers versus Leyton Orient. We said Bristol Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 3. Now, we know Bristol can score, but they can also let goals in. And one of my thoughts was, do we make it one of these silly 3-2, 4-3 goals? But and I said nothing of it. And the reason is because Leyton Orient have been playing some really super football. And that back line tends to be okay. I mean, it could be a little bit rocky now and again on the odd game, but I didn't think it would be against Bristol Rovers for some strange reason. I got it totally wrong. We said Bristol Rovers 0, Leyton Orient 3. It was Bristol Rovers 2, Leyton Orient 3. Orient came flying out of the blocks, didn't they? 9-minute goal, and then they were pegged back by Bristol Rovers on 32 minutes, but immediately came back with a Donnelly goal to lead 2-1, and then 3-1, and then obviously penalty made it 3-2. But Leyton Orient, yeah, it was quite an even game, to be quite honest. They had 54% possession to Bristol Rovers, 12 shots, 5 on target, 2 goals. They'll be happy with that. But Leyton Orient, 47% possession, so not that much different. 11 shots, not that much different. 6 on target, again, not that much different. But out of those 6 on target, 3 went in the net. Either Leyton Orient's shots were brilliant, or the defence just didn't quite get in there enough and put them down and close them up. But for whatever reason, Leyton Orient made the most of their possession here. They made the most of the shots that they had on target. Very close one. I think on any other day this would have been a draw. and I think it would have been a fair analogy, a draw. Bristol 3, Leyton Orient 3 would have probably been a good score, and a great one to watch as well, because it was a good game to watch. But in the end, Bristol Rovers 0, Orient 3. It was Bristol Rovers 2, Orient 3. We do get a correct result, so that I will accept, and we'll quickly move on to Burton versus Peterborough. Now, Burton 1, Peterborough 2 is what we said, and it was Burton 2, Peterborough 2. To me, this was a game that Peterborough really did do an awful lot of the work in this game, and Burton, I didn't really see much from Burton. But when they had the ball, they just seemed to be menacing, and they just seemed to be pulling little errors in the back line of Peterborough, and you're thinking, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. I mean, they caught them on the break. 6 minutes in, Burton 1-0 through chalk. And it was just from then on, you could see what Burton were doing. They were just going to catch them on the break, try and make Peterborough make stupid errors, and it worked. Burton 2, Peterborough 2. Great game plan by Burton. Peterborough really should have put this one well to bed ages before, but we know Burton can play some pretty good defensive tactics occasionally. Again, not quite so in this game. They let 2 in, Peterborough 2. I think that on any other day it would have been a Peterborough sort of 1-0 win, but we went for a Peterborough win, and it was a draw. We'll move on. Cambridge Reading. Yeah, tell you I had a cold, can't you? Cambridge start this game really in the doldrums, and I don't think anybody really saw Cambridge being able to get back out of this. They've had a spell of playing really good. 2 wins in a row back there in a few weeks ago, but ever since then they've not really played brilliantly. They've not played as badly as they did in the first few weeks. The first few weeks Cambridge were playing dreadful football. At least now they're playing good football, and they do seem to be playing decent football. I actually enjoyed Cambridge's play, and I'm sure the Cambridge fans are starting to see something that they can grab hold of, and some light at the end of the tunnel that says, we will start playing better in and getting results in the second half of the season. And I think they will, but not today. Cambridge 1, Reading 3. We said Cambridge 0, Reading 2. We were pretty much spot on, to be honest. It was a really high-powered game. And I thought this might be one of those 0-0 bore draws, when we first turned this one on. But it wasn't. 52% possession to Cambridge, 48 to Reading, 16 shots to Cambridge, 5 of them on target, which they'll be pretty happy about, 1 in the net. On a different day, 5, 6, 7, 8 on target, and they could be 2, 3, 4 up. But it wasn't. 13 shots to Reading, 6 on target, 3 in the net. They were more clinical. They got the ball in the net more often, and that's the be-all and end-all of it. The passing was probably 284 to 290, pretty much spot on even. Everything was here pretty much spot even between them, but for the finishing, and that's all it was in this game. Great game, enjoyed it, good football. I actually thought it was good football. Well done, Cambridge, you are improving. Well done, Reading, you're starting to improve and get a better, more clinical finish, which I think will tend to be a good omen for the second half of the season. Crawley versus Charlton, and I've started to just pull back on Crawley just a little bit. That playing excellently for part of the game is certainly a little bit of a worry to me. It was called off, so that's postponed, and we go to Lincoln versus Rotherham. Rotherham were how do I put it? It's my side. We were in the ascendancy. We were winning that game all the way through. 48% possession, 15 shots, 9 of them on target, 1 in the net. The clinical finishing of Rotherham is awful. It's dire. However, 15 shots and 9 on target is pretty good. But I would be wanting more than 1 goal out of 9 shots on target. We played pretty decent football in midfield. We played okay in defence. For the first time, we looked like we may actually be able to get through a game without letting one in. Lincoln City were probably as dire as they were the first time they came to us a few weeks ago. We got 6 points from them. 3 points again in this game. Lincoln 1, Rotherham 0. We said it was Lincoln 0, Rotherham 1. Rotherham were always going to win this one. And I'm not saying it because I'm a Rotherham fan. They were better than Lincoln. I don't think we played brilliantly. I don't think we played awful. But we played okay. Whereas I think Lincoln played okay, a little bit worse. 7 shots for Lincoln City, 2 of them on target. No goals. Yeah, I mean that really did sum it up. We never looked like letting one in. To be honest, whenever Lincoln had the ball, they'd lose it before it got really very close. So we didn't get that one, and we'll go to Mansfield versus Bolton. Mansfield have started to just show that this was a blip, but Bolton, they've been doing so bloody well. 67% possession to Bolton. They're starting to control games from the off, and they've done so here again. But they only managed 12 shots, 3 on target, 1 goal. And they did a Mansfield. Bolton did a Mansfield. They controlled the game. They played really pretty football. They played a great style of football. It was great to watch. 12 shots. They ran it ragged. 67% of play. 556 passes, successful passes. They knew what they were doing and what they wanted to do with the ball until it got into the final third, which is not like Bolton. Mansfield only had 15 shots. My God, where did they come from? 5 of them on target. Okay, again, not a great percentage because we know that Mansfield can do better than that. But they got 2 of them in the net. It was just a run of the green. I think on any other day, Bolton would have, again, ran this one ragged as they did, and they would have been 3 or 4-0 up. However, Mansfield made sure that they just didn't get any more than those 3 shots on target, and it worked a dream. Mansfield 0, Bolton 3. We said it was Mansfield 2, Bolton 1. Oops. Let's move on to Northampton. So Northampton, Stevenage. We were sure there were going to be lots of goals in this. Northampton 0, Stevenage 4. This is going to be a game to watch, isn't it, this one? And it was certainly a game to watch. From the pub, perhaps? 3 words for this: scrappy dappy do. Oh my God. Northampton 37% possession, 9 shots, 2 on target through the entire game. Stevenage 63% possession, 7 shots, 2 on target through the entire game. 0-0, ball draw. Can't be bothered with this one. Next one, please. It certainly wasn't the 4-0 that we said, was it? Stockport versus Birmingham. And this is our final game. We said we actually got this one correct, guys. We got the correct score. We said Stockport 1, Birmingham 1. And it was indeed Stockport 1, Birmingham 1. Now, Stockport were under the cosh for a few minutes. Actually, the funny thing is, Stockport were on top in this game. Birmingham got that goal through Alfie May in 5 minutes, and And I don't seem to remember Birmingham actually being dangerous in any of the rest of the game. Stockport ran this one. Stockport should have won this one. Yeah, I have to say Stockport should have won that in the last few minutes. Twice they should have won it in the last few minutes. Stockport played really well. They came into this game as the game went on. But you can see by those 17 shots from Stockport, they weren't afraid to have a shot. And they weren't poor shots. You know, the post saved them at least once there. Should have been 2-1 at that point at least. And for me, any other day, Stockport would have won this one 2 or 3-1. However, on the day, it was Stockport 1, Birmingham 1, just as we said, and we get a correct score and a correct result to finish with. Please do like and subscribe. It's always nice to see a few names popping up saying you've just subscribed. I do enjoy it. So please like, please subscribe. Join us the Sports Channel over and out for one more League One review.